I want to earn all of my friends' platinum trophies, but today I'll be earning the platinum on a game that I played a lot growing up, as it was just released as a PS1 classic with trophies on May 21st, the year of our Extreme Sports Lord 2024. 2 Extreme came out when I was 11 years old back in November 1996, and I played the hell out of it. It was the sequel to ESPN Extreme Games, but the second installment dropped the ESPN licensing and kept going as its own thing, even having a third installment aptly named 3 Extreme that was released in 1999. So maybe we'll see that one get released as a PS1 classic sometime in the future, but for now, I am focusing on knocking out this childhood gem in 2 Extreme. There are 31 trophies in total for 2 Extreme, 14 bronze, 10 silver, 6 gold, and the platinum. 4 trophies are for completing all the courses and a 5th for completing and winning the whole season. 12 trophies are for obtaining certain scores during a race, 3 are for accumulating a certain score while traveling through scoring gates, 3 for doing tricks, 3 for knocking down the other racers, and finally 3 for getting an overall race score. 3 trophies are related to setting track records for either the high score or best time, and 10 other trophies are for miscellaneous objectives to do in the game, like not going through score gates, not doing any tricks, not knocking anyone down during a course, 2 for hitting a certain speed, creating a custom character, 2 for finishing a race with really bad stats, and 1 for using every power-up in a race. My plan of attack is pretty simple. I first want to jump into a season and get reacquainted with the game for a race or two. It's probably been about 25 years since I last played, so hitting up a couple courses will tell me if I've made a terrible decision to jump back into this and ruin my childhood nostalgia. After a little refresher on the controls, I'll focus on completing the season and all 12 tracks. During this step, I am hoping to get most of the score-specific trophies out of the way as well. Once I've completed a season, I'll aim to get 12 high scores or best times on the courses. I'll also try to obtain what I assume is going to be the hardest trophy in the game, which is getting 1,000 trick points in a single race. After all that is said and done, I'll see what trophies I have left for cleanup to pop the platinum. After fumbling around the main menu and listening to how hard the music goes, I select my character, the legend Bones O'Neill. Now, as I have said before, there are 12 total tracks in the game, and they are located in 4 different areas: Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Japan, and Africa. Why are 2 cities, 1 a country, and the last one an entire continent, you ask? I assume the devs didn't trust the basic American child's brain back in 1996 to know a city name for like Kyoto or Nairobi, and that was probably true if I'm being honest.
Is it South Africa? Nope.
In each region, you'll race on different equipment on 3 different courses. You skateboard in Los Angeles, rollerblade in Las Vegas, cycle in Africa, and snowboard in Japan. First race of the season is Las Vegas 2. It's time to see if I remember how to play. Set, go! I'm off to a rough start, as I don't think I'm still supposed to be behind the starting line hopping up and down as the other 9 racers are basically out of sight. But I persist, and I finally figure out X is to accelerate. In the bottom left corner, you can see my stamina, which depletes as I speed up, but then replenishes once I crouch. This also works as a health bar, since you can punch and kick the other racers and knock them down for points. This must be an attempt to be an Extreme Games version of Road Rash, I suppose. Each track is littered with pedestrians and obstacles trying to take you off your feet, and I spent a lot of time laying on the ground. This game moves fast, and because of that, my first trophy, As Fast as a Cheetah, pops for hitting a top speed of 64 miles per hour. And right after that, I hit a top speed of 72 miles per hour for the Extreme Speed trophy. The colored gates score you points. Yellow is for 150 points, red gates for 250, and the green ones are worth 500. There are also purple gates, but those don't give out points, but control a movable obstacle like mailboxes or signs for me to skate into head first. The gates with symbols above them are power-ups that can make you jump higher, regain stamina, make your attack stronger, or give you a speed boost. See ya! I'm going to focus on racing and going through a bunch of gates during the first race, and boy does it pay off in trophies. Not to brag, but after finishing in 10th place, I get a rundown of how I did. I got all 3 gate score trophies, breaking the gate for scoring 1,000 points, Gatekeeper for 2,000, and Slalom Fan for a 3,000 gate score. I accidentally performed 5 basic tricks for 50 points each, earning me 250 trick points in this race and the Tricks of the Trade trophy. I got the Pacifist trophy for finishing a race without any knockdowns, a feat that was incredibly easy since I was never even close to any other racer to even attempt to throw a punch. I apparently passed through every type of gate in this race, which landed me the Target Acquired trophy, and used every type of power up for the I Have the Power trophy. I'd say 9 out of 31 trophies in about 10 minutes is a pretty good start. Now that I've started to develop my extreme sea legs, I'm just going to jump into the second race, Los Angeles 2. I did awful. I think I might have hit a dog walking across the street, which is horrific, and finished 10th again. As you may have seen, as I go off most jumps, Bones just flaps his dumb arms in the air like he's trying to fly away from my terrible gaming. Before the third race, I try to figure out how to do tricks. I have no idea how to do them yet, despite scoring 250 trick points in the first race. Eventually I have to look it up online since even the controls layout in the options screen doesn't say anything about how to perform tricks. The only thing even pointing me to the fact there are tricks in this game is the trick related trophies and the trick score after finishing a course. Also, it's an Extreme Games video game, so I guess you'd assume tricks are a thing, but nowhere that I found does this game explain how to pull them off. Las Vegas 3 is next. I managed to stay with the pack for most of this race and eked out an 8th place finish. Apparently my trick research did me no good as I got the boring display trophy for not performing any tricks during a race. I'm not exactly sure how much knocking down someone is worth, but I got a couple jabs in and scored 600 knockdown points, which earned me the Fighter trophy for a knockdown score of 150 and Brawler trophy for 450 points. Race number 4 takes place on the Africa 3 track, which is our first cycling race so far. I like the Africa and Japan courses a little more than the US city races because they are a lot more open air and taking jumps doesn't end in me slamming my character's head against an overhead streetlight. I finished 10th once again, so I'm not doing myself any favors when it comes to trying to win a season, but I didn't expect I'd be any good at this game right away either. 5th race is back in Africa and another 10th place finish in the books. The 6th race had me skateboarding on Los Angeles 2. Go! And this is by far the worst course in the whole game. It's super dark, like I'm skateboarding through Los Angeles during a citywide blackout. I managed to pull off another 10th place finish, but I also scored 900 points in knockdowns under the cover of night, earning me the Bully trophy. The 7th race of the season is our 3rd and final Las Vegas course, which is called Las Vegas 1. I gotta hand it to the developers really flexing their creativity muscles when naming these courses. I started off terribly and stayed that way for most of the race. I was in 9th place around the 3.5 minute mark, but somehow managed to pull into 2nd place right at the end. I got the Rolling Down the Strip trophy for completing all 3 of the Las Vegas courses. Funny thing about the timing of this game getting released on PSN is that a couple days before I heard it was getting released, I had ordered a physical PS1 copy from eBay. After I finished the Platinum on the PS4, the physical copy arrived, and I was able to look at the manual, which told me a couple things I still didn't even know after the plat. The first thing is that knockdowns are worth 150 points each. The second is how many points you get depending on what place you finish. Since I just finished in 2nd place, I now know you get 9,000 points, which pushed me to 13,000 points for the race. That overall score nabbed me the Scorekeeper trophy for getting an overall score of 7,500 and send me to the X Games for scoring 10,000 or more. Race 8 is our first snowboarding course, Japan 2. This is the most dangerous snowboarding hill I have ever seen. There are brick walls, metal fences, and what looks like water cooler jugs sitting all over this course. At least in Las Vegas and Los Angeles, I can chalk up most of the dangers to very dumb pedestrians trying to cross the road at inopportune times, and maybe an overzealous course marshal setting up a little too many safety barriers. But Japan is just a death trap. Also, there are poor little foxes and deer just hanging out on the slopes trying not to get pile drived by 10 people trying to do the do.
Board meeting.
I finished in 10th. Next up is Japan 3 for our 9th out of 12 races in the season, and I actually managed to pull off a 5th place finish. I'd like to say I'm improving, but that's absolutely not true. Race number 10 is our final Japan course, Japan 1. I finished in 4th place. I realize I can either focus on just racing and doing moderately okay, or I can attempt to do tricks and fail at both a good trick score and a good position. After finishing the last Japan course, I earned the trophy Shredding Through Japan. I also earned the Grounded trophy for setting 3 score or time records. I got the top time in Japan 3 and top scores in Las Vegas 1 and Japan 1, landing me the first of 3 top score trophies. The penultimate race in this very exciting season of extreme sports is cycling through Africa 2. I had a run-in with a zebra and an elephant, and somehow managed to stay in the rear of the pack, finishing in 9th. For completing all of the courses in Africa, I earned the trophy Biking in the Back Country. Final race in this season, we're off to Los Angeles 1. I finish off the season strong with a 9th place finish in this race. We skate this city trophy popped for completing the 3rd and final Los Angeles course. But then the Extreme Champion trophy for completing and winning a season also popped. I'm not exactly sure why this popped, since I clearly did not win the season with my slew of 9th and 10th place finishes. So either this trophy was bugged in my favor, or the trophy description is wrong, and you only have to finish a season, not win one, to earn it. Next step is for me to try and grind out the remaining 9 top scores or times I need to set. But I also want to attempt to earn 1,000 trick points in a single course while doing so. Since Japan is so wide open, I decided to tackle these together. I switched my character over to Megan Carver because she has some decent snowboarding stats, and hit the slopes in an exhibition race on Japan 1. I managed to pull off 550 tricks and points, earning me the exciting contender trophy. And since I actually placed in first and got a 12,500 bonus, I also earned over 15,000 overall score for the Score Expert trophy. As we stand right now, I have 2 top score records for Las Vegas 1 and Japan 1, and 2 top times for Africa 2 and Japan 3. I need 12 total to get the last 2 record trophies. I attempted a couple runs in Japan and then Los Angeles, and my biggest issue for getting a good time is the computer players knocking my extreme butt to the pavement. So since this isn't Road Rash and I have the option, I turned off fighting. Just a quick note. While it is so satisfying coming up from behind and knocking someone over, it does not outweigh the frustration of getting creamed by multiple other racers when you are racing well. My enjoyment of this game significantly went up after I turned off fighting. I could focus on racing, tricks, and dodging elephants. If you're going for the platinum, get those knockdown trophies out of the way quick and just enjoy the rest of the ride without getting backhanded in the face time after time. I then raced on Japan 2 for about 2 hours trying to get the elusive 1,000 point trick run. 700 points, 450 points, 900 points, 550 points. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. But extreme sports have not seen fury like a bridal metaphor scorned. So it was time to bench Megan Carver and break out my custom character, Ace Badass. I moved around some attributes and gave Ace some great speed and acceleration while not plummeting his handling. I earned the trophy for creating a custom character, now entering you. And reran Japan 2 again and again. Developing a plan to do a small trick here, medium trick there, pull off a barrel roll here.
Do a barrel roll!
I now know the Japan 2 course better than I care to admit. I switched over to Japan 3 for a couple races so my eyes wouldn't get the words Japan 2 burned into their retinas, and picked up the top score and time in this course, bringing me to 7 out of the 12 scores I need. This got me the No Limits trophy for 6 high course scores. After a couple more failed attempts to score 1,000 trick points under my belt, I once again needed a little break, and for my last run of the day I decided to hit up Japan 1 for old time's sake. I probably fell more times than I landed tricks, but I persisted in small and medium tricks throughout, and as I passed through the finish line, the results screen shined bright. 1,250 trick score, and the Show Off Your Moves trophy was in the books. I was able to turn off fighting in the menu, but I am also able to turn off the computer players. So for the sake of science, I turned them off and headed over to Los Angeles 1 with Ace Badass in an exhibition race. I guess I didn't know what I was expecting, but it's only Ace racing alone against his own self-doubt and insecurities. Turns out racing only against oneself makes this game a cakewalk. I obviously got first place. I also scored a total of 16,850 points and got a time of 3:36, which is well under the 4-minute threshold, which netted me both the high score and best times for Los Angeles 1, bringing me to 9 out of 12 scores I need. After that race, I turned back on the computer players because honestly, if I don't beat anyone, is it really winning? And that much silence can do a dangerous thing to a man's psyche, even to the extreme mind of Ace Badass. That being said, I'm pretty sure if you were looking to turn this game into a pitifully easy platinum trophy, it's within your grasp. Although I don't condone it, you could squeeze out those knockdown trophies right away and then turn off the computer players, making it smooth sailing to the plat. Except this game doesn't actually have sailing because apparently the ocean isn't extreme enough for these people, so turning off the computer players would make the platinum as easy as a kickflip in your mom's front lawn, which subsequently is about as extreme as I got regarding skateboarding in my youth. I may have finished 10th place, but I did beat the time in Los Angeles 2 on my next race. 2 more to go. Next I finished Las Vegas 2 in 3:08, just 2 seconds under the 3:10 time, bringing me to only one more top score to go. I attempted the Las Vegas 3 high score, and while I did, I absolutely demolished the trick score with 2,300 points. I also got 9th place and only scored a total of 7,750 out of the 10,500 points needed. I tried my hand at a couple Africa 1 races and was unsuccessful in getting either the top score or best time in any of those attempts. Switching over to Africa 3 for no real reason other than my want for the slightest change of scenery, I had a fantastic run on my second attempt. I finished in first place, which boosted my score to over 16,000 points, beating the best score of 10,750, and got a time of 3:51, which beat the best time of 4 minutes. After putting in my initials, the Extreme Legacy trophy for setting 12 score or time records was finally mine. The 3 remaining trophies are pretty easy and will serve as my victory lap. Slow and Steady needs me to finish a race with a 0 in all attributes, and Glass Jaw needs me to finish a race with 0 in the muscle attribute. After tweaking my stats, Arthur Mild is now ready for action. Heading over to Japan 1, Arthur attempts to survive in the cold, harsh reality that he literally has no business being on the slopes. The third and final trophy I need is for finishing a race without passing through any score gates. After about 5 hours of hitting any score gate that came my way, it is weirdly hard to trick my brain into not heading directly for those score increasing thresholds. I had to start this race 2 times because a couple minutes in I would space out and just go through a gate without thinking. Finally, on my third attempt, I finished the race with 0 attributes while avoiding all the score gates and earned the 3 trophies: Obstacles Are Scary, Glass Jaw, and Slow and Steady. With those, the Platinum Trophy Extremely Good Player also popped, and my time with 2 Extreme has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching along as I earned the Platinum Trophy in 2 Extreme. This only took me about 6 hours to earn, and if I was going to completely cheese it by turning off all computer players, I could knock that time down to probably under 2 hours, especially now that I remember all the ins and outs of the controls. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone going for the plat though, as it really takes away the fun racing along by yourself. I tried it out for 1 race, then reinstated my fellow racers for some friendly competition. There's nothing extreme about getting first in a 1-person race. Even though this game is far from perfect, I have a lot of fond memories of it growing up, and I had a great time revisiting it as a withering geriatric millennial. Was this part of anyone else's childhood game collection, or was I the only kid sitting around doing ollies in Los Angeles while everyone else in '96 was playing Super Mario 64 or Resident Evil like cool kids? If you're bored, check out some more of my videos, and feel free to send some suggestions of games you want to see on the channel. I do have some RPGs and more Platinum vids already working in the pipeline. But once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.